Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good, James. Glad to be here. Exciting weekend of NFL football. Cold weekend.
Yeah, we're staying warm up in here, so I don't know what it's like in Clover. And we got a special guest with us tonight. We'll introduce him in just a second. We're going to talk more about Clemson hockey, and I think it's gymnastics fever up in here, all around Clemson. So we're going to talk just a smidge about that as well, and of course Bailey's going to update us on basketball, and we're going to give the fun fans only the look that fun fans can give, some prognosticating and just a heads up about the college football playoffs, and we're going to use the NFL playoffs as a comparison. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and on all forms of social media. The Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
That's right, and we also love Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around, with 2 locations in the upstate, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer, 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at reubensc.com. Reuben's is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans, but mainly these Tiger fans.
Big-time Tiger fans, and we are also brought to you in part by Diamond Etch Products. Still working on getting you that custom, convenient link for fun fans to order your Diamond Etch product. I just ordered a couple more things from Diamond Etch Products myself. So, as stated earlier, let's get right to it. We are fortunate to have a Clemson offensive lineman with us this evening. This gentleman played his high school days at York Comprehensive High School. You can't leave the comprehensive out, or it wouldn't be very comprehensive of us. And it's a good thing Bailey and Will are separated, because I know that they definitely know the difference between navy blue and black over there in York County, between Clover and York.
That's true. Yeah.
That's right. No. Calm down, guys. Calm down. But this guy was a 2019 selection to the Shrine Bowl, so that's a huge deal. He walked on at Clemson at 2020, earned his way onto the field in 2022, and he was part of the ACC Championship team that year as well, and also obviously part of this past year's Gator Bowl Championship. He's a graduate player now with a degree in civil engineering, so he's smarter. He's the smartest guy on the show tonight.
That's right.
For sure. And let's welcome Mr. Will Boggs with us. Will, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, hey, and we need to say happy birthday, right? Was that yesterday?
Yes, sir. It was birthday weekend. Still celebrating the day.
There you go. That's Gen Z for you right there. It's birthday month.
Well,
for the girls,
my wife has a birthday month.
I at least took a week, so we're good there.
Yeah. Why just do that for one day? All right. So let's go back real quick and talk about that Shrine Bowl, because that is a big deal. That's a huge honor. And for you, that was only like 4 years ago. So, it's recent past. What was that experience like?
It was amazing. The highlight of everything, though, was definitely going to the Shriners Hospital and seeing all those kids and hanging out with them. I mean, there was, even to this day, there's really nothing that's been an experience like that. There's no other experience like that than what I had that day, and just meeting up with all the kids and just kind of being able to interact and kind of see what it was all about, and not just there to play football and hang out and eat good food, but all of that was a good part of it as well. But really just being able to hang out with those kids and play games. But overall, I really enjoyed the experience, and with the playing we got, especially being able to go up there and beat North Carolina, that was the best part too. So we were able to have a lot of fun doing all that.
Yeah, we like it when teams from this state beat teams from the Tar Heel State.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
So tell us, how did you end up? First of all, James, there's no problem between the two of us, even though it's York and Clover, because, I'm sure he went to school with Nick Clayton too, right, Will?
Yeah.
And he's been on this show. So
that's right.
No problem. Plus, he's an offensive lineman, and I'm not, so I'm not crazy. I'm not going to mess with him. Tell us how you ended up at Clemson.
Really, I mean, it was kind of just ended up happening. I didn't have too many offers or anything coming right out of high school, my senior year or anything like that. I had been talking to schools like Wofford and Furman and stuff like that. I had a PWO to Western Carolina as well. But being at the Shrine Bowl is actually kind of funny. Coach Venable's son Tyler, he also played there, and we ran into him after a practice and just some of the function stuff, and just started talking to him. It's like, well, my dream's always been to play at Clemson, and it just kind of worked out from there. And then all of a sudden, the stars seemed to align, and it's like, well, we got a PWO for you here. And so I was like, it was really kind of a no-brainer at that point for me, because I mean, I've been a Clemson fan my whole life,
Right.
and to have the opportunity to be able to go there, I was like, let's make it happen.
So I guess I added
Good.
a little bit to this question. You may not have seen it already. You've played, I guess you've played for now. This will be the third offensive line coach you've had, right?
Yes.
So what can we, how about the new coach, Matt Luke? What's the vibe with him? What can we expect from him?
Really, I'm overall, the guys are really excited for him. He's bringing a kind of an edge that we haven't really seen in a little bit. But overall, I mean, I have nothing but love for Coach Caldwell and Coach Alston. They
Right.
both did a great job. But I'm looking forward to who's there with Coach Luke, and I'm there to play and just execute the offense to the best of my ability as well.
Awesome.
Heard that. So being a football player, a lot of people think there's perks and all, and there is a lot of work, and sometimes the truth is probably a whole lot of both. But what's the coolest story? So we talked a little bit about, this show, we're all about, our fun experiences. Give us a cool story that you got to experience in the past couple of years being on the Clemson football team.
Probably one of the coolest things is just being with the guys and everything. Oh, my bad. Being with the guys and just seeing, celebrating after wins. And I remember this past year, my friend Will Putnam, him getting carried off the field. That was a really cool experience. Not only that, but some of the stories probably can't get into. I don't know how good those will be.
Sure. Keep it off air.
But overall, I mean, just really the brotherhood with the offensive line. We're able to get together 2 or 3 times a year as a complete unit, go to a pool, hang out, that kind of stuff. But there's not really anything particular that way, like major stories, but just kind of my experiences overall, and just hanging out with the guys have been some of the best parts that I've had being with the team.
Yeah, so like we said, and you just said, some things are better left off of podcasts.
Yeah.
But there was obviously there was a switch that got flipped Notre Dame week. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, on this podcast, when we're 4-4, I'm still telling everybody it's all right. It's all right. I bought stock a long time ago in the Tigers.
You always had stock
all the time.
Right.
But there was something a little different when we showed up at Death Valley that Saturday for the Notre Dame game. And, what was it like being a part of that turnaround and now leading into next year?
I think really the biggest part is coming off of last year. I know the biggest narrative that and really what Coach Sweeney was saying, we did get physically dominated going up there and playing them at Notre Dame. And the biggest thing coming here was, we're going to finish this year. We're going to finish. We're going to be the most physical team, no matter what. We're going to bring that physicality and aggression that we need to. And I think that was one of the biggest things that kind of flipped this year for us, especially towards the end of the season, and really kind of honing in on who we are. We're Clemson. Like, yeah, they're Notre Dame. They've been around for a while too, but we're here. We're at Clemson too. We have good players just like anybody else in the country. And, we go be who you are. And, everybody got challenged that week, not only the players, but the coaches. And
Right.
Coach Sweeney, I know he was feeling the pressure too, but overall, just, be who you are, be all in, and just play your butt off. And so I think that's really what kind of got brought that week for us.
And,
that was big.
And the rest of the season. I mean, look,
yeah.
It was great, man.
That was awesome. That was a big time win. Notre Dame's a really, really good team this past year, and they're always a really, really good team. So, but speaking of vibes, and once again, just give us a little bit of the feel for you guys. So the news broke with Coach Saban retiring, and people said for years, and Dabo's from Alabama, and this, that, and the other. and the fans flip out. Okay, once again, like Bailey said, we're not flipping out over here. We were confident in whatever happens. We talk about things being outside of our control all the time,
Right.
but we weren't really worried. We definitely weren't one of the fans flipping. But you saw it on social media, I'm sure, and heard lots of stuff. The fans were flipping out. What was the general vibe with the players? Was there a big group text where everybody was like, "What's going on?" or anything, or what?
Well, really, overall, I mean, there wasn't much doubt from anybody that Coach Sweeney wasn't going to still be at Clemson when this is all said and done. I know he played there and everything, but he told us in the team meeting following all the news and everything with all that, it was his dream to play at Alabama. It wasn't his dream to coach there. And, whether he does that in the next few years, whatever happens there, maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years, if he wants to go pursue that, then that's for him. But overall, I mean, he says he's committed to us. He was an Alabama boy, but he's a Clemson man, and he feels good about the people at Clemson, and he wants to be with where the people are and where he has his stock and where he feels good about who's there and what he's brought to Clemson and what Clemson brings for him.
He's the one-liner king. I love it.
Oh, he is. Oh, he is. He's always got something. And in these meetings, you can always count on him to have some little quote or something. We call them Sweeneyisms. And
see, there you go.
Yeah.
But do y'all ever give him a hard time about his Sweeneyisms?
Oh yeah, they pop up almost just about every meeting. There's always something coming up, and even when he's not around, we're always quoting them to each other. We're always joking around about them. But some of the good ones, as a man thinketh, so is he. It comes from the Bible, but he says that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It takes what it takes. We aren't going to have any soft serve Dairy Queen ice cream here. You need that Ben and Jerry's scooping down at the end of the bucket, all that good stuff. So he's always got some line that he's bringing in some way that kind of relate it to other things in the real world. But we always make fun of it, give him a hard time, give some of the other coaches a hard time about it. But we have a good laugh about it all.
Well, y'all would you would be just like some of my former players that remind me of things I used to say.
Yeah.
And sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't, because I was just trying to motivate a bunch of knuckleheads, honestly, at the time.
That's right.
But that's a good answer. Hey, I love Dabo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Bring your own guts, buy stock.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
All the good stuff.
So what we learned here, only about 1/10 of them make it on the news,
right?
Into the post-game interview. So that's great. Heard it here on the Fun Fans podcast. And speaking of, and I think that's good rapport between coaches. Like you said, both of us coach. We know your dad coaches. So is there a little bit of, did he have some sayings that the kids kind of cracked on him a little bit?
Not really. My dad, he's always just been more straight to the point with things, I guess. And he's never. Now, one thing is as long as he doesn't get on to me with Coach Sweeney, he'll talk a lot. And a lot. Sometimes, I mean, we'll be sitting in there at the 2-hour meeting, and it's like, man, is this ever going to wrap up? But my dad, he's more man of few words sometimes, and he's more straight to the point with things. All right, guys, let's go get it done, and kind of that way. And what our talking is done on the field more so. My dad's kind of been more that way sometimes than just saying a bunch of things in front of everybody. So there's not as much there. Yep.
Good guy. Good Coach Boggs.
All right. Well, obviously you're at the football games in uniform on the field, but do you get a chance to be a fan of other sports at Clemson?
Not as much as I should be or want to be sometimes. Most of the time, whenever I have my break and when I'm done with practice or workouts, I like to go just kind of kick back at home and either once I finish homework, just kind of relax and watch some stuff on TV. But whenever I do want to go, and some of my favorite times to go is I love going to watch baseball in person. Compared to watching it on TV, being in the ballpark is a great experience, and I love actually being there for the atmosphere, if nothing else. But that's definitely one of my favorite things to go do if I'm going to watch some kind of Clemson sports outside of football.
Agreed. That was one of our favorites too, other than football when we were there, and still is when we can get over there. So, Will, you already have a degree in civil engineering. So, what are your future plans? What do we expect to see out of young Will Boggs?
So, as May of last year, I graduated with my civil engineering degree, and then after that, I started pursuing my MBA with Clemson still. And I take all my classes in Greenville right now. Another reason I'm home right now, it's a little bit shorter of a drive, and we don't have workouts tomorrow. We'll start back Tuesday, but I'll be doing those classes in Greenville for this until spring of 25. I'll graduate with my MBA May of next year. But other than that, I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't know 100% yet. I've gotten a few internships with a company called ICE. It's a consulting and engineering firm in Greenville, and I've been looking forward to working with them. I have another opportunity to do that this summer, but I'm really kind of open to a lot of different things and just trying to figure out what it is I want to do and what my skills are and kind of find my calling and all of that. But I'm looking forward to just learning and discovering it. So
cool.
Sounds good.
Don't get in a hurry because the real world's the real world.
Oh, trust me, I'm not. That's another reason I'm doing it, because I was like, I could go back I could go into the real world and get a job, or I can go back and keep playing some football. And so I was like, might as well stick around for a little bit longer while I can.
That's right. May as well. Yeah. Love it. Take advantage of it for as long as you can. Get to even more baseball games.
Get my parents to pay for some stuff while I still can. So
yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. So but we definitely wish you the best of luck in all those endeavors. One of these days I'm gonna be able to speak. And so anybody out there in Fun Fan Land in a year or so looking for a civil engineer with a master's in business, that's a pretty good combination, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good combo right there. But we appreciate you being on the show. We wish you the best of luck. Tell your family we said hello.
I will.
And we'll be cheering for you and all the Tigers.
Awesome. Thank y'all very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, Will.
Yep, no problem.
Super nice young man.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, way smarter than us.
Yeah.
He must get that from his mama.
Well, I don't know. That's your opinion, I guess.
I'm
trying to see if the gymnastics team won, but
the gymnastics team won by 1.5.
Oh, wow.
Gymnastics fever. It is hot in Clemson right now. Go get it. So they're 1-0 in ACC. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's super awesome. And, like we've said on here before, anybody doing gymnastics needs
some energy.
Lots.
I mean, come on.
Lots of energy. Where to get your energy? Dubby. Scan this QR code. Go to dubby.gg. Enter promo code FUNFANS for your 10% off. It's your jitterless energy drink. And they also have caffeine-free hydration drinks as well. So lots of awesome flavors. All right. We're going to run through. I mean, it's getting ready. The spring sports, you're an AD. We all know it's wide open, especially when you're finishing up winter sports and you're getting spring sports. So you typed in some stuff on here, Bailey. Go. You do the baseball then real quick.
All right. So baseball is a preseason top 10 selection. Depends on what. There's like 4 polls in baseball. So it'd be a good time for me to reach out to Nick Clayton and get him back on here and talk about the Tigers.
There you go.
And then the softball team is preseason number 7. Those schedules are out. Baseball starts February 16th versus Xavier. That X is pronounced like a Z.
Xavier.
And then March 1st through 3rd, we play the Gamecocks.
Yes.
All right. 2 of the games are actually in Columbia. One's at Carolina, one's at Segra Park, and one's in Clemson. The Sunday game's in Clemson.
So they're not doing the one in Greenville this year?
No, they rotate between Greenville and the park in Columbia every other year.
Boo.
Softball plays Missouri State on February 8th.
To kick things off.
Hey, look, it's a great time to be a fun fan. So you said those are fun fan games of the year, man. Let's just make them all fun fan games of the year.
Hey, we could, but we need we can't be like the Hat and show up at every game. We just can't do that.
The Hat is literally helping them behind the scores table at every basketball game.
Really?
I see him every time I turn the television on, or if I go to Little John, I'm guaranteed to talk to him. So he is a number one fan, no doubt about it.
Without a doubt.
Speaking
we got to
of
hook up with him
basketball,
at softball and baseball for sure. Goodness.
yeah. Speaking of baseball,
speaking
basketball,
of, go ahead. Huge.
Tigers, huge win.
Huge.
Florida State was 5-1 in the ACC. The Tigers played like they had before they went through a little slump that every team goes through. They shot 51% from the floor. They were 21 out of 25 from the free throw line, which is 84%, and 7 out of 17 on their three-point shots, which is 41%. They played defense, and it was a masterclass on coaching with guys in foul trouble against a more athletic team by Coach Brad Brownell. And anybody want to tweet that? Tweet it.
Tweet that.
Okay.
Bailey typed it in there like that. Tweet that.
I even saw a tweet that said, hey, all you Brownell haters, where are you at? You could at least give some love because Hall, Shefflin, and another big guy were in foul trouble yesterday. And Florida State is the biggest team in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Their point guard is 6'7". All right. Now.
Yes.
So it's a big win. And they
big win.
I believe I pointed to those stats the other night on the podcast as well.
They definitely, the second half, pulled away, ended up winning by what? Did we win by double digits? Was it?
Yeah, right at it. But they were up 10 for like the last 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah. And the first half, we were down 2, 3, 4, 5 points most of the first half. So it was, something into turnaround any sport when you come out in halftime and turn it around like that. That's great coaching and great team, bonding and, the kids doing everything they need to do. That's just a whole group effort right there.
Not to get too technical, but Florida State is always really good.
They're good.
And their coach, Leonard Hamilton's from right up the road here in Gastonia, North Carolina. But they're always in the passing lanes, and that took a little bit of adjustment early on, and then we made some adjustments to what we were doing. And, man, then we got to the free throw line early, and we made a bunch of them. So there you go.
Very
Next
good.
Saturday at Duke.
Who
got beat yesterday by Pittsburgh. See, it happens to everybody.
It happens. We'll talk about that a little more in a minute.
At home.
All right. And we're going to apologize because we haven't given the Lady Tigers, the basketball Lady Tigers, any airtime here on the Fun Fans. So the Lady Tigers, they lost today to Virginia Tech. They're only 1-6 in the ACC, but they've got 8 wins. They're like 8-11 overall, I believe, something like that. But Bailey pointed out that 6 of the teams in the ACC are ranked in the top 25. So the ACC, we think about men's basketball and the ACC being loaded. Women's basketball is no different.
And Syracuse is like right outside the top 25, and NC State's ranked 4th. And
we host the Wolfpack this Thursday, and I know I went to 2 women's basketball games last year, and it's just a fun sport to watch. They get after it, and it's just as much fun, really, in a lot of ways, more fun to watch than a men's game. So that's that. Go support those Lady Tigers. Now, I got a picture on here. You'll see these links go out. We must pause again for a little promotional. Fun Fans are new Amazon affiliates, and we put 2 items out there. We use this, so anybody that uses a computer might need a hub, so you can plug in your ring light and your mouse and everything else, right? So we're going to put a link on
certainly use another one
on social media, and you'll see a link for that in addition to a link to a mini mic that you can go buy off of Amazon. These will take you to Amazon for sure. And, you could help the podcast keep going, because these things that we have to buy, they do cost us a little something. And we just like having a good time, but trying to stay out of a hole here. So support the show. When you see those links, go use them, and we'll start doing a Fun Fan product or 2 of the week. So final segment, NFL. We don't talk much professional sports on here, but it's the playoffs.
Listen, can I say this first?
Yeah.
Did you hear what the reporter asked Tampa Bay coach Todd Bowles in his weekly press conference?
I did not. Let's hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna reenact it.
Oh, yes, I did.
Coach,
Go ahead.
Coach, the weather's really cold throughout the country, and currently the weather is 13 degrees in Detroit. How are your guys going to get acclimated to the cold weather for the trip this weekend? And he said, well, since they play in a dome, we're going to not worry about the 20-second walk from the bus into the stadium.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that reporter doesn't get to cover any more sports for her station.
I do remember that.
I just thought that was funny.
That was pretty good. All right, so NFL games are going, and want to point out we're mostly college sports show here. So just real quick, point out that one thing that happened when the 4 teams played, and it's like drawing stuff off of social media, but whatever. If the games are close, the committee got it right. And if the games are not close, the team didn't deserve to be there. Well, folks, if you look at the NFL playoffs and you look at the spread on these games, only about half of them are close, good games. That Green Bay San Francisco game last night was good. The game today was close until the end. I guess it was, you could say that one was pretty good, pretty close.
Well, both of those ended with a pick by the defense, or, they were driving and it's just a couple bad decisions by 2 quarterbacks, but that happens. I mean, I love the NFL playoffs because I think the best teams win most of the time, or the teams that are playing the best at this particular time win. But I'm definitely pulling for Detroit. If you watched Hard Knocks last year with the Detroit Lions, you like Dan Campbell, the head coach. He is a motivator.
Yep. If you go back and look at last week's games, and like I say, only about half the game, the other half are their blowouts. The Ravens game was kind of a blowout. So for folks that, we're looking forward to a 12-team playoff, if you apply that theory, I mean, it's really, and if you look at what's going on with the transfer portal and NIL, the top 4, 5, 6 teams playing the next 4, 5, or 6 teams, it could be some not really close first round games in the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, you figure somebody's going to get upset. But the cream should rise to the top, right?
Well, that's the thought at the end. But I just the point to point out is with 4 teams, okay, maybe all those games should be close games. Don't think, you can't think that with a 12-team playoff. It's not that this team should not have gotten in if they lose by a couple touchdowns or 3 touchdowns even, to some conference champion or something in the first round. So that's just there's not that much, parity.
What they're doing is they're setting it up just to discuss the last 2 or 3 that didn't get in versus the 2 or 3 that did. But that's not as nearly as a huge deal as Florida State getting left out this year. It's not as consequential for a 1-loss third place or 2-loss SEC third place team. If they get left out, they just got left out, But it's also 2 more opportunities for people to get hurt, for people to get a targeting call, for people to do this or do that. I mean, it's just more opportunity, for things to happen.
Well, it'll be interesting when some, low seed goes up against somebody and their team is favored or is predicted to get beat by 2 or 3 touchdowns. If, are they going to opt out?
Right.
Is the star player going to opt out for the NFL? So college football's got some work to do. A lot of stuff out there now about kids being granted
9 years of eligibility.
Year of eligibility, but then other kids not. Or so, college football really is. I think they're trying to do better, but they got a lot to work out.
Hey, look, the dude from Miami that just got his 9th year granted, he's going to need to start investing in a retirement account soon because he's approaching retirement age.
Yeah.
Anyway.
His call letters are AARP. All right, Speaking of getting hurt, we're going to be, because this is a fun fan game of the year right here. The Clemson hockey playing the Gamecocks. We've already said that the fun fans will be there 1:00 in the Bon Secours Arena on February 24th. Look forward to that. That's going to be awesome. Then we'll probably go to Rubens afterwards. Super, super fun. just like our show was today. We hope you enjoyed the show. It's always cool to have a current Clemson athlete with us. Bailey and I are still working on our floor routine. Okay, we got to get into the gymnastics groove. And we're excited about all Clemson athletics. So thanks again for checking us out each and every Sunday and Wednesday. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social media, and please share. On behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thriller Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Yep. And again, like to thank Will Boggs for being here. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.